Today on Let Them Talk, we're going to look at everything you need to know about the past perfect. When to use it, when not to use it, and a little trick to help you remember when to use it. And at least one situation that you probably didn't know that you have to use it. Yes, that's a super advanced point, so stay tuned for that too. And I'm joined today by a terracotta warrior. Let's call him Bob. Yes, that's right, Bob. And Bob's going to help me explain it all. Aren't you, Bob? Aren't you? Hello and welcome to Let Them Talk, and today we're doing the past perfect. So let's get straight into it, and I'll start with how to form it. And I hope you know this already, so I'm going to do it very quickly. So all you need is had plus a past participle, and in the negative, hadn't plus a past participle. Lots of examples coming up in a moment. So when do we use it? We use the past perfect when we are talking about something in the past, and then we talk about something else that happened before that. Yes, it's that simple. There are always two pasts, with the most recent usually coming first in the sentence, although not always. Okay. Easy, huh? Okay, so let's have a look at some examples and explore when we use it. When John arrived, he noticed that he had left his documents in the car. So John arrived, that's the first past, and it's in the past simple, and then comes the second past referring to an earlier time, and that's in the past perfect. He noticed he had left the documents in the car. When we met for the second date, I realized that I had forgotten her name. I had never seen snow before I moved to Sweden. Here you see the past perfect part comes first. Remember, the more recent past is in the past simple, and it might just be a thought or a realization. It doesn't have to be a big action. Okay, so for example, 20%, huh? That's disappointing because I thought you had studied hard for the exam. So in this example, what he thought happens in the past just until the present, and the had studied refers to what he believed had happened earlier. When there are lots of events going on in the past, how do we know whether to use the past simple or the past perfect? Now think of a man doing some stuff in the past, and every time he looks over his shoulder to a past event, that's the past perfect. Let me explain, or let my friend show you what I mean. Bob? Bob was walking down the road on the way to the station. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, so he had decided to walk, even though it was quite far. He was going to London for an important business meeting. Then, suddenly, he realized that he had left his train ticket at home. His train was leaving soon. He didn't have time to go back. Oh no, this is annoying, he thought. Then he phoned his wife, hoping she hadn't left for work already. Fortunately, she hadn't. She had found his ticket and would drive to the station and give it to him there. Phew, what a relief, he thought, and continued walking. Now, there are certain words and phrases which are often followed by the past perfect, and this will help you remember it more easily. So we've already looked at thought. I thought I had taken my passport, but I hadn't. And it's also common in indirect speech, indirect reported speech, after told and said. So let's look at some examples. She told me that she had studied at Leeds University. And remember, it's important that we say had studied and not studied, because the action finished before she told me. So she is not studying there anymore. Okay. I told her that I had been working at the factory for 20 years. Okay. Well, that's a past perfect continuous, but you can use that too. He said that he had changed his mind. She said that she had lived in Buenos Aires. Okay. After I didn't know, often with the past perfect, I didn't know that you had been a ballet dancer. After I realized that he had beaten the world record. After I was under the impression that he had taken drugs. After I noticed that he had been waiting for a long time. Right, now we're going to look at some common mistakes, and one common mistake is to use the past perfect with one time. For example, the last time I had seen John, he was wearing a green scarf. No, that's wrong. No, there's only one past here. The last time I saw John, he was wearing a green past. Okay, there's only one past. A long time ago, I had lived in a castle. No, again, that's wrong. There's only one past. It's a long time ago, I lived in a castle. The past perfect is only used to talk about events that are separate and distinct to an early event and finished before the later event. Okay? So, for example, I opened the door and then I had seen a black cat. No, again, that's wrong. I opened the door, I walked down the road, and then I saw a black cat. All these events are part of the same sequence of events. Okay, so all in the past simple. And here are two more cases when you use the past perfect. Okay, in the third conditional and in mixed conditionals. So let's have a look at an example of that. So the third conditional, if I had known the truth, I would have behaved differently. If we had arrived earlier, we wouldn't have missed the train. Okay, that's the third conditional. And a mixed conditional, if I had studied French at school, I would speak it better now. We'll look at in greater detail about conditionals in another video. Okay, there's one more case, and this is the super advanced point that I talked to you about before. We use the past perfect tense to talk about things we wanted to do but we didn't do, and these are used with verbs such as hope, want, expect, mean, think about. For example, I had hoped to have lunch with you today, but you cancelled. I had wanted to become a musician, but I didn't make the grade. So in both these cases, you could use the past simple, and it's perfectly correct. I wanted to become a musician, but I didn't make the grade. That's perfectly correct. And I'm just telling you about, but in these cases, I'm just telling you about the past. But we use the past perfect to talk about an unrealized dream or to emphasize a past regret. Let's look at a couple more examples. Poor Johnny had expected more presents on his birthday. I had meant to tell you the truth. I'm sorry I didn't. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay mellow. More English language videos coming soon.